project, I made a change and then kicked off the DevOps process. Looks like that build succeeded, so I wanted to show you that part. Let's also so I want to show you the virtual kubelet integration. We already talked about this. Everybody remember that?
Yeah.
So I want to burst out these these pods. Too much time to set up a new node. I can just go to ACI instance. Hopefully I can show you a quick demo of that here. Let's just do a Helm init. And then let's just install. So as we type this here, I'll show you what's happening here. So I'm installing essentially an ACI connector. Okay? And I'm installing it. This is the interesting part. So you can do Windows containers through this trick right now with AKS. So I'm installing the ACI connector and saying OS type as both Windows and Linux. Okay? So this comes back. Okay, and let's now do a get nodes. And let's just get ourselves some more room. So you can see that it created a Windows container right here, Windows virtual container. So now that we have a Windows connector, let us try to deploy this application. So I'm saying kubectl create, and I'll show you this manifest in a second. But we are just trying to deploy a Windows container which contains PHP and Windows 2016. So we'll take that image, then try to run it. And while it is running, let's just go take a look at this Windows image. So this is the API version. Here's the deployment right here, and this is the name here of the deployment. And what is interesting here is if I go into this is the most interesting part. Let's spend some time on it. So you guys already know about the node selector. So in this case, I'm explicitly saying that this pod can only go to a node which is of type virtual kubelet, right? And so by virtue of that, our node got created, and very quickly it created a Windows container instance. And in fact, if I go into my resources, and let's just try to deselect all of them and just look for container instances, let's just refresh, you'll see, here's my Windows container right here running. So even though AKS does not support Windows containers, here's a little trick to get your Windows workloads running against the AKS control plane. Okay, and this is a vanilla Windows server image. Okay, everybody see that? So, and normally it would have taken a longer time to get the node up and running and connected and all that. So that's one part of the demo. Okay, let's just go back. And I want to just also show you the service catalog while we are here. So let me close a bunch of things that I don't need. Close all these. And let's just go back here. Let's show the service catalog. So in the service catalog, let's just go see all the plans that are available to us. So it is showing me a bunch of plans. Let's just get this up here. There's some more space here so you can see. So these are the plans that are available to me. So either SQL is available, and these are the various plans that are available. Let's just go and find all the classes that are available. So let's just also dump out the classes. Everybody remember the notion of service catalog, right? We've gone in, so service broker is part of the Kubernetes, one of the projects within Kubernetes, and you're essentially creating a binding between a Kubernetes cluster and these services which may be running in your Azure platform, like like Azure SQL database or Cosmos DB, in this case MySQL or Postgres, in this case. So I have an instance running. So at this time I can just simply come in, and I can also get all the brokers that are available. I just get the brokers. And these are the brokers that are, so I have the Azure broker that is available. It could be some other broker that I may want to choose to install. Once I have all of these, I can simply run this command, and I've already done this for you guys. So I can run a command like this. So in this case, I'm installing a WordPress application right here, installing WordPress application. So I'm going to the help repository provided by Azure, downloading a WordPress Helm chart, okay, and then I'm deploying it, sorry, the next one, this is the one I ran. I'm deploying it in the WordPress namespace, second one. Okay. So what it will do is, it will look at that Helm chart and see, oh, you need these Kubernetes objects, fine, and then you need Azure SQL database, Postgres, and let me go get an instance of that, and I'll connect them together to create this WordPress application for you. So if I were to run this command, get me all the instances, the bindings, this will show you that WordPress is installed right here on this, within that namespace right here. Okay, so that's service catalog for you guys. All right, so one other final, do you want to see this demo, or should we get into the slides? This last demo, let me just describe it, and you tell me if you want to see that demo or not. Up until now, I've been logging into the Azure cluster using a key, basically exchanging a cert, and then logging in. I don't have role-based access control turned on. I also have, amongst the various clusters that I have one of the clusters where role-based security is actually turned on. So what happens is, I log in into the cluster because I'm an administrator in that subscription. I log in into that cluster as an admin, and I get the credentials. Once I get the credentials, I can then go in and say, create a role called pod reader, and that's what I've done. Create a role called node reader. And pod reader has only access to the pods, node reader has access to the nodes, and so on and so forth. So I've gone in ahead and done that. So the demo would be something like this. After I've created these roles and assigned them permissions, I would run kubectl get nodes, like I've been doing all afternoon. This time it will say, hey, before I let you go, you need to log in with your Azure AD credentials. And it forces me to log on to Azure AD. Once I log on to Azure AD, it issues me a token. And then next time I run a command called get nodes, I will send that token up to the Kubernetes cluster. Kubernetes cluster will take that token, go to Azure AD and see if I have permissions on the nodes. If I don't, it will say, hey, you don't have permissions to run get nodes command on this cluster. So this is an important thing to consider when you're running a production system. You want to have very finer, granular controls at the security level. You just can't have one certificate that anybody can use to do whatever they want. Right? Plus, by enabling rollback access control, you have this whole auditing going on, who did what and things like that. So that was my last demo. Do you guys want to see that in action, or a description is sufficient for that?
Action.
See tonight? Huh? Looks like everybody else wants to move on to the slides. Okay. So everybody's saying, get past the demo. I want to see the operational best practice, right? Is that what is in everybody's mind? Okay, but not to disappoint, I'll just show it to you in 5 minutes. Come to me at 5. I'll show it to you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, yes.
This binding that we create here with the service catalog, is it created at what level? At the VNet level, or to the pod level, or pod level, or the node level?
So definitely not at the VNet level.
Okay.
So you're saying the binding is done at the application level.
Yeah.
So
Application.
So you're not just deploying a pod, right? You're deploying multiple pods along with a load balancer, along with a deployment object, along with replica set. All that constitutes an application. The binding is happening at that application level.
Okay. And that the name that we have defined, for example, my application name is, or my deployment name is this.
Yeah.
So it will attach to that.
It will attach to, we can actually go back and look at it. It will attach to that, yeah. Okay, so with that said, those are my demos. I have to thank the demo gods, after my blue screen of death within the first 3 minutes. I was sending a text to my wife that this is going to be a long day. My first blue screen, I mean, it was, you guys, I showed some of you, like, as soon as I started talking, I said, hello, thank you for coming. It showed me a blue screen of death. And then it said, updating your firmware. I said, oh God. And I was thanking my stars that, before coming here, on the last day before I was coming, I was just going to carry my Surface, right? This is what I do when I do a short hour or 2 long presentations, I just take my Surface. Who wants to carry this big computer around? Okay, I just sitting in my house on flight. I left on Saturday morning. I was just sitting in my house that, I don't want to take another computer. I will travel light. Somehow something sparked in my head that, no, what if this computer goes bad? So I spent 3 hours just setting up all the demos and slides on this machine. So I'm glad I did. If I didn't have this machine, I'm sure this would not have booted. But I can't complain. It's been fine since then. Well, even if it dies now, I have this. So we are not doing any more demos. All right. Okay, guys. Let's talk about the operational best practices. Sorry, question? Something? Anybody? No? Okay. So first is cluster isolation. Do you want to have a physical isolation between your clusters, or do you want to have a logical isolation, which is you basically create this Devon staging cluster and you have different namespaces in here. Right? What are the different considerations? And here are some of the actually before we go into the considerations here, let's just talk about namespaces. I think I've already covered this, so I might go through this rather quickly. It's a logical boundary. We've already seen that. I've talked through most of that. You can apply resource quota there. You can apply network isolation policies. You can say pods in this namespace can only talk to pods. You can apply networkers. And then you can apply RBAC policies and things like that. Okay, the container level isolation is still hard to do, but where I was going with is this slide right here. Okay. So for physical, here are the considerations. Of course, if you have multiple clusters, it's going to cost you more. And keep in mind that it is a managed service, but you still need to reboot the nodes in order to do the patching. And you need to do that at least once a month or some number like that. So there's a cost associated with that. In general, my experience is that in order to accomplish this, you need a more sophisticated set of operational team to be able to do that. Because you're applying network policy, you are applying quotas, so you need a slightly more level of sophistication to accomplish this. But if you are able to do that, then you can definitely save money doing this here. And this is an example of how to apply quotas at the namespace level. I showed you an example. Remember, we killed a pod early on, started to get more memory, then it was allocated and it killed. Well, I can do the same thing here at the namespace level. Okay. So here are some tools that you can use. Something called the Cube Advisor, which one of the Microsoft engineers wrote. And you can find the Cube Advisor. You can run the Cube Advisor pod in your cluster, and then it gives you things like this. Hey, you're missing the resource limit on this, or you're missing the memory limit on this. It just gives you a best practices guidance kind of thing. So you can certainly do that. Okay, to your question about ingress. What's your name, sir? I forgot.
Muhammad.
How about yours?
Muhammad.
So Mohammed, to your question about ingress controllers, let's just spend some time on this. So here, we have by default the load balancer. I've said this a few times. By default, the load balancer that we assigned in Kubernetes is a level 4 load balancer, which means you don't get any TLS termination or smart routing and things like that. You don't get that, right? So also, I think Philip, you're asking this question about internal load balancer. You can absolutely do that. So you can create all these pods, create an internal service, and you can put an ILB here. And in fact, the way you do that is, see that annotation here? Here's a great example of how annotation is used. You've seen several examples of labels and selectors. Here's a great example of annotation. I've annotated it as an internal load balancer. So what happens is Azure will deploy, rather than an external load balancer, it will deploy an internal load balancer and give you an internal IP address. Okay? Which
I meant
means,
for the API servers, but that's also good.
say that again?
I meant for the API servers, because the API endpoint that Azure provides you only resolves to an external IP address. But that's another topic.
Just the API server endpoint, right?
Yeah.
Can that be on the internal endpoint? I need to check on that
Okay.
to give you an answer. So you're going to send me an email.
I already sent you an email.
You already sent me an email. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but I don't want
Okay.
to say it till I've confirmed this.
Can
Because
we-
even if it is a public endpoint, remember, we can do a public-private peering like we
Okay.
do. So for some of my customers, let's say they want to talk to Azure SQL database, which is a public endpoint, right?
Mhm.
So the way we enable it is we do a public-private peering, which means the traffic from our network goes through express route, and express route routes it through Azure and takes it to the Azure's edge, proxies that traffic and drops you right in front of the Azure SQL database. So you can do some things like that.
Okay.
Can
So
we
that's-
use application gateway for the Kubernetes cluster?
You can use application gateway. In fact, I have a slide.
Yeah.
You get $5 as well for planting the right question. But here's the internal load balancer right here. So why would you want